today's cup of coffee, we're going to be talking about Nordic aliens and also a little more about the Extraterrestrial Species Almanac by Craig. I did hear somebody pronounce his name. Campobasso.
Kibasa.
Kielbasa. It sounds like kielbasa. It's Campobasso. And I did listen to part of another video featuring him. The one that I had linked, I had put it in the description box last night, was rambling. And we ramble, but at least we don't do it for an hour and a half. And we do try to provide some actual information while we're doing that. And Kid says that I'm getting too much into the research side of things and taking some of the fun out of it.
Just a little bit, not.
And
I
that's
didn't
okay.
mean that as a bad thing.
No,
I didn't
take it. I didn't take it as a slam. But the way that I view this is that if I'm discussing some of these things, because I do take these subjects seriously, just like I take the paranormal and any of the other things, and we do have fun with the different topics.
Well, see, I love the paranormal, and I take it seriously too, but at the same time, when I'm not actually doing the research or being professional about it, quote unquote professional, I can be like, oh yes, ooh, spooky boy.
Right. Well, and there is that element of spooky boy on some of the things. It's just like us joking about the Bigfoot.
Big feet.
Because, you have to have a healthy amount of skepticism unless you are joking about it.
Yeah.
And even as far as trying to not joke about it in a way where people that have had these encounters and stuff
get offended,
don't feel comfortable to share.
Yeah.
Because that is the basis of this, is for someone to have the ability and the opportunity to share their experiences, and without somebody making fun of them or laughing at them as such.
Right. It's not me making fun of anyone else. It's me making fun of the ghosts.
Oh, I understand. I really do. And it's like I'm open to constructive criticism.
Yeah.
And to sit there, and because I can go too far down the research rabbit hole. But when somebody is, making books and, that people are truly searching for answers, and so they buy these books and it's not what it's reported to be.
Uh-huh.
And so that concerns me. And another thing that concerns me about Campobasso is that he is a filmmaker and he is a writer.
Yeah, which if he's a filmmaker and a writer, he's more than capable of stretching these things to not be so believable or whatever.
Right. I mean, automatically somebody like that, it's not like they can't have encounters with the, paranormal, supernatural, UFOs, aliens, any of the things that this channel discusses.
Yeah.
Just because they are a writer. But for some of us, that sort of, I don't know, it makes me a little more cautious than if it were a random person saying that Bigfoot sat on their trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I would come closer to believing that Bigfoot was on somebody's trailer than I would somebody associated with Hollywood.
Right.
So who knows? I would probably, and there is a reporter. I mean, I do, even when in high school, as far as doing reporting and stuff, and I actually did it right. Who, what, where, when, why, and how. Same thing as writing a police report or a, in any kind of report I had to write when I was counseling.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same basis. So that's where some of the healthy skepticism comes in.
Yeah.
This is what I observed. This is what I have learned. Linda Moulton Howell is wonderful about doing that. She's been doing this for many years.
Uh-huh.
So I'm not trying to make anyone disbelieve.
There is actually this book and I don't remember the name of it, but it's a really, really old book that you actually had, God, since I was little or whatever. It was an alien book.
Right.
And it was actually this dude writing about his experiences.
That may have been Whitley Strieber, and it wasn't Contact. It was Communion was the name of the book.
No, I don't think it was
Wasn't that
Communion.
one?
No. And it wasn't Contact either. It was by someone else that I've never heard of before.
I've been doing this stuff a while.
I know you have.
So, and it's not that people who've had these experiences shouldn't write books or do interviews or different things like that, because people want to know about these experiences.
Uh-huh.
So why, and people have to make a living. So it's, flip sides of it. Are they doing it for the fame and the money, or are they just doing it to what the public wants to know anyhow,
And we don't know.
in addition to being able to have some income?
Yeah. And I ain't going to diss anyone on... You get that money, you get that paper, you get that bag, but, like, also have some integrity as far as, like, truth.
Absolutely. And so I do question this book, and it's frightening that Wikipedia has become one of my primary sources for information, because whoever has been researching about these things more in depth than I have, now they do list sources and things like that, which is very beneficial to me, because then I can go down other rabbit holes. That's why I've got, like, lots of whatever reference I used, I put those in the description boxes. People can read the stuff for themselves, make up their own mind.
Right.
But as far as the Nordic aliens, the reason I did want to, again, start with this, I did read as far as what Campobasso said, which is very general. And from Wikipedia, it says, in ufology, Nordic aliens are humanoid extraterrestrials purported to come from the Pleiades, who resembles Nordic Scandinavians. And if you're wondering what that strange noise is, it's raccoons.
Yeah. Those sounds are adorable.
They're not always adorable. They're kind of frightening sometimes.
Sometimes, but when they're making that trill sound, like, it's absolutely adorable.
Yeah.
Not when they're making the horrible grunting pig noises.
Yeah, those are demonic sounding. But anyhow, professed contactees describe them as being 6 to 7 foot tall, with long blonde hair, blue eyes, and fair skin. And this one ufologist that they mentioned, George Adamski, is credited with being among the first to claim contact with Nordic aliens in the mid-1950s, and scholars note that the mythology of extraterrestrial visitation from beings with features described as Aryan often include claims of telepathy, benevolence, and physical beauty. And so, going back through there, because of that, some of these sightings or abductions or whatever are sort of clustered.
Yeah.
That makes you kind of question.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that this came out about the time that the 1951 film The Day the Earth Stood Still came out. And like I said, that was 1951. And so, looking up, dude, as far as I've got my pages out of order here. Adamski, he says he became widely known in UFO circles and to some degree in popular culture after he displayed numerous photographs in the 1940s and 50s that he said were alien spacecraft. And he claimed to have met with friendly Nordic alien space brothers and to have taken flights with them to the moon and other planets. And he was the first and most famous of several so-called UFO contactees who came to prominence during the 50s, and he called himself a philosopher, teacher, student, and saucer researcher, although most investigators concluded his claims were an elaborate hoax and that Adamski himself was a charlatan and a con artist.
A saucer. Like, like china saucer, like dish saucer,
Yes, like Wedgwood or something like that.
food saucer.
And he authored 3 books
Put some spaghetti on it.
describing his meetings with the Nordic aliens and his travels with them aboard their spaceships. And one of the books was Flying Saucers Have Landed in 1953, Inside the Spaceships in 1955, and Flying Saucers Farewell in 1961. The last 2 books were both bestsellers, and by 1960 they had sold a combined 200,000 copies, which I don't know that that's that large of amount in today's world.
How many copies was it?
200,000.
That's a decent amount, like, but it's not the most. That's not a great amount.
Okay, basically what dude did, and it says he became interested in esoteric occultist religion theosophy and a variant called neo-theosophy. So he's making his own stuff up is what he's doing.
Unless that's an actual thing and we haven't heard of it, but I'd never heard of that before.
He's from California.
What does that have to do with the price of rice in China? It has to do
with everything. Everything. And he ended up teaching his personal mixture of Christianity and Eastern religions that he called Universal Progressive Christianity and Universal Law. So he was making it up as he went along. And he basically sort of had this cult going. And one of his, someone had supposedly heard him state that he had made enough wine for all Southern California. He was in the wine business. And so he was making a fortune. However, at the end of Prohibition in 1933, he was making the wine during Prohibition for his supposed religious purposes.
Uh-huh. The cat's hoiking up a hairball.
The cat is hoiking terribly. So as the decline, since Prohibition ended, he had to find something else to do. And he later told 2 friends that this was when he had to get into this flying saucer crap. So this was apparently just a grift for him, or people thought it was a grift. And then you've got Howard Menger, and he was an American contactee who claimed to have met extraterrestrials throughout the course of his life. And there were people that, they questioned his claims on some of this too. And again, he's within that time frame of the other guy. And this other one is Bethurum, and he was one of the well-known 1950s UFO and alien contactees who claimed to have spoken with people from inhabited planets and entered or ridden in their spacecraft. So these guys very much may have been, bullshitters,
mm-hmm.
which takes away from the people who truly do have experiences.
Yeah, absolutely it does.
And one of the things that bothered me about Campobasso and the lectures,
Campobasso.
The lectures that I had heard was that they were not credible.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, that's horrible when you do, in fact, like, supposed factual stuff and can't have credible sources.
Right. And within that, it's one of those that these Nordic beings may well exist. They could have been the basis of Nordic and Norse mythology.
Uh-huh.
So I'm not totally discounting that. So, anyhow, this is why I ask people, if you've had a personal experience, please take a moment to email me and let me share that, because those are more believable to me than some of these other things.
Yeah.
And that was like I was telling Kid, and I have told you all, when I was channeling, and the people that were supposedly contacting the Pleiadians and the Venusians, which are out of this Nordic group, there was a set of dogs that they would howl when those presences came near. Never did it any other time. And we're having battery issues, so I'm going to have to end early. I'm supposed to have 30 some minutes. I don't. So if you have had paranormal or supernatural experiences, encounters with UFOs, aliens, Bigfoot, any other kinds of cryptids, local legends, any of that stuff, send me an email at cupofcoffeewithscream, gmail.com, and you all have a wonderful day. Keep questioning. It's okay to question.
Yeah. Search to the skies.